Hi, this video is to go over Schoology organizational tips and best practices. The following are things that you're going to want to stay away from. So the first one is having a unit or a chapter folder that houses everything that they need for that unit or the chapter. The reasoning behind that is that can become really overwhelming for students with a lot of information. They can quickly become lost and then give up looking for what they need. The next one is to have too many clicks for a student to find what they need. The more they have to click to find things, the easier it is for them to become confused, especially if they have parents that are helping or even a para that isn't fully comfortable with how you have Schoology set up. The easiest way to do this are with the suggestions that I will tell you in just a little bit. And then the next tip is way too many folders or assignments showing on the stream, so that main materials class page. When there's so much to look at, kind of like when you're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any type of social media, when there's so much to look at, you can easily become distracted and not know where to start. On Schoology, when the students go into their materials page and there's so much there, that can really get students anxious and really confuse them if they're not familiar with what or where they're supposed to go. So those are just suggestions that are out when dealing with best practices with setting up a LMS or a learning management system such as Schoology. So now the next ones that I'll talk about are some best practices and ways to organize your Schoology class. I say instead use the KISS method, which is keep it simple and straightforward. And that's what I plan to do here. So these are the tips and the best practices for setting up your Schoology courses. The first one is having a folder of the week. What you'll do is you'll create a new folder in your materials page. Just drop down and do new folder. It's a great idea to color that folder and always keep like the current week, the folder of the week, a certain color. That allows students who are visual to see that green folder and know that's the current folder that you are going to work with. So like I said, you'll create a folder, you'll change the color of it, and that'll be the one that the students are working on for that complete week. Inside the folder of the week, you'll have a folder for every single day of the week. This just really helps students stay organized. And as you can see on the example, I have color coordinated each day of the week. So as you're talking to students, you can say, please open up the red folder for Monday, and they would be able to go to the red folder. Before you put anything into the days of the week folder, my suggestion is to create kind of a bare bones one where it's the folder of the week and then the daily folders inside that without anything in them. And then save that to your resources in Schoology. It saves you some time every week where you can just go to your resources and import that to your class versus having to empty out the folder and kind of waste a lot of time in my opinion. So the way that you do that is you'd hover over the week, you'd click on your settings, and you're just going to click Save to Resources and then save it in your Schoology resources. Speaking of the days of the week folders, everything the student needs for that day should be found in the daily folder. So we're looking at a Monday folder. So any links, assignments, websites that I want my students to go out to should be found in this folder. Instead of having the quiz is folder or link or an IXL link out on my main page where my kids have to then close out of the Monday folder, close out of the week of the folder, go back to the main page and try to find the quizzes link. By putting it in the weekly folder, makes it really quick and easy for kids to stay on task during class and get to where they need to be. Plus, for those students that can get confused easily or get lost in multiple steps, this makes it really easy for them. Like I said, with creating the folder and putting that in your resources, I would suggest any links that you use frequently to save those to your resources so you don't have to type out the link or go get the link again. You can just save it in your resources and input it or import it back into your folders as needed. Another thing that was suggested, and this was suggested by Worthington students that I spoke with, is that they would really like a daily agenda or a to-do list in Schoology for the week or the day. This was brought up during the distance learning. They said it was really confusing to try to stay on task of everything. And the teachers that did implement this at their request, they really enjoyed it. So there's many different ways to do the daily agendas and to-do lists. So I'll show you a couple examples. One of them will be in this video, and then another will be in a separate video. Make sure that you include due dates on your assignments. As you can see down here on the bottom, this Spark video directions assignment, it tells me right below it when it's due. If you don't put a due date, it doesn't show up on the students to do or upcoming in Schoology, so they don't kind of have that. It's put on the back burner and they might forget about it. This is an example of a daily agenda and to-do list. You're going to include everything that you're covering for the day, what homework they have, when it's due. So if you look at the example, I show that we're doing the live lesson. We're going to do a quizzes. We're going to read or watch the video on getting started with Spark Video. The students are going to work on a Spark Video project with their partner in breakout rooms. And then the homework is the Spark Video project, which is due on X date. The daily agenda and to-do list can also help students that miss class or students that need to see things a few times to remember. Another folder that you'll want to create is a new folder for like a prior week's lessons or your older lessons. The reason is if all of your old prior week's lessons are out on your materials page, that can get really cluttered fast and really confusing for your students. So what you do is you go to materials and click new folder. And then I named mine prior week's lessons. Like I said, you could name it old lessons. And then anything from the prior lessons are going to be put in there. So, the week of, October 31st through whatever is going to be put in that because we're on our new week. The folder is still active and students can still view and finish assignments if they need to. Otherwise, if students have already finished it or it's an assignment that you're not taking late work on, you can actually hide the folder just like you would hide an assignment in Schoology. Go to the settings icon on it and then choose unpublish. This is what it will look like when you are moving it. So if this is the folder that is now outdated, I would click the settings icon, click move, and then a pop-up box is going to come up that says destination. I'm just going to choose this folder now, the prior week's lessons, click OK. This entire folder will move into the prior week's lessons. And then, like I said, students can go there into the gray folder and know that they can work on lessons that they're still missing. The last one is if you're still using Zoom, and we are right now since we're in the hybrid still. So if you're still using Zoom daily, it's a great idea to have the Zoom link the very first thing your students see when they come into your class. So I have put instructions below on steps 1 through 5 is how to get the website that goes directly to your Zoom meeting. The students do not need a passcode then. It's embedded in the website. However, they can't just get into your class It will still go in the waiting room, and then you have to let them in. Steps 6 through 11 explain how to add that link, so it's an actual link into your Schoology course, so the students click on it and Zoom opens. I will explain some of these things in separate videos, so if it's something that you were interested in learning how to do or find out more information, click on those videos.